Hey, welcome back. We are doing part 2 of the numerology behind the Cece Watts family murders. Pardon the congestion. It's been ongoing for weeks. I don't know if any of y'all have gotten this thing, but it is a beast to get rid of. Today I want to talk to you about master numbers because I told you that Cece Watts is a master number 44. Shanann Watts was a master number 33. And Chris's mistress, Nikki, is a master number 44 soul vibration. So being a master number, that means 11, 22, 33, 44, 55, 66, you get it. It comes with double challenges, but if you can meet the challenge and do well with it, it has double rewards. However, when you below the challenge, and good morning, Jules. How are you? Jules can't let me do a video without some sort of a cameo. Hi. Okay, I guess this time she's just gonna sit here. Okay. Yeah. So I find that more people struggle with the master number 44. And I think it's because 4 is just a really difficult path to be on. It's a lot of hard work. And some people really struggle with that challenge. There's a lot of stress involved with the wanting to please your family, the wanting to have that secure home, wanting to have the food in the cupboards, feeling the responsibility that comes along with the 4. And then when you get a 44, your base number is an 8. And an 8 is the number of power and abundance. So what is the negative side of power? That's abuse of power. So some 8s will actually hold themselves back from creating what they truly could be because they're afraid of abusing their power. So you get a master number 44 that's an 8 and they go into abuse of power. That is a really scary thing. So here Chris was given an opportunity. He was not happy in his marriage. Like I said, that marriage should have ended a very long time ago, and it didn't. And he's got all of the influence from his family constantly with the digging at Shanann and Shanann with her need for perfection and the appearance of perfection that was getting to him. Plus, finances are very important to somebody who works the number 8. They had already filed bankruptcy and then took on another boatload of debt. And recovering from bankruptcy is very, very difficult because just because some of your debt gets washed away, you have nothing. You have no credit cards. You have nothing. So she had a neck surgery that apparently was 25 grand out of pocket. Where are you going to get that money? Where's it coming from? So it literally means more hard work. You both need to get a job. You both need to be working, bringing in a very substantial income and not spending anything. It's literally starting over, and it's not some sort of a cakewalk of, oh yeah, I just abolished all of my debt. Now I can go on trips and I can go do this and go do that. It's not a realistic approach to bankruptcy. It's really rebuilding from the ground up. So if that wasn't treated right, that also builds stress. And you also have to realize we're dealing with a mental illness with Chris that nobody has addressed or nobody even knows is there. So you've got all of these factors playing in here, and it's building up and building up and building up. So you get someone with a mental illness working a 44 who their whole life lesson is to follow steps. You need to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You get somebody who can't follow steps, who thinks that the way to his goal is to just wipe everything. We're going to jump from step 1 to step 10 without going through the steps. That's very, very dangerous. So this is where something in his mind said, I'm just going to erase these people and I'll be able to move on. So he was given an opportunity, as was Nicole. Nicole's a 44-8 soul. She was also given an opportunity to do the right thing, but she didn't. What was the right thing? You get a divorce. You go through the steps and the uncomfortable behavior that goes into that. You deal with the possible outcome of somebody being mad at you, of things being unpleasant, of you actually having to speak up for yourself, of you no longer being a doormat and actually going for what you want, running the risk of displeasing people, and having somebody pissed at you. Yep, that's what you do. But no, that's not the way his mind worked. His mind said, I'll just kill him. I'll just kill them all, and I'll just run off into the sunset with this girl. Where does that logic come from? It's not logic, that's mental illness. So we have to be able to look beyond, what is a normal functioning brain thinking. Yeah, it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be an uncomfortable conversation. It's going to be an uncomfortable process. There's going to be a lot of threats thrown around. You'll never see your kids. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. His biggest worry was that he's going to get locked out of the house. Big fucking deal. Okay. Come up with a plan. These are critical thinking skills that everybody needs to have. I don't care what number that you work. You need to have critical thinking skills. Okay, here's the issue. Here are all of the things that can happen. And here is the solution. What am I going to do? He didn't have any of that. He didn't even have it after he committed his crime. He left all of her stuff in the house. He actually thought he was going to get away with this, but yet didn't take any of the steps that would allow him to get away with it. And when we look at Nicole's life lesson based on her date of birth was a 36-9. Nines came here to learn integrity, wisdom. She failed so far. So living a life of integrity is not running off with a married man, but many people have done it. And her soul came in almost, when I tell you that I think this is predestined, her soul came in to give him that available lesson to do the right thing. If he really wanted to be with her and she really wanted to be with him, they had an opportunity, meaning she had the opportunity. Okay, here's the deal. You want to be with me and I want to be with you. You need to get a divorce, go through the proper steps, and we can work our way through this the right way. And somehow that got lost in translation. Let's think about that one for a minute. So the question that I get from everybody is, was Nicole involved? So the degree that she was involved is how much influence that she had. Hi, Grace. Good morning. Good morning, Grace. Not realizing how much influence that she had over him, or definitely realizing, because she was completely wanting to influence this situation. I don't know if she knew exactly what she was dealing with, but definitely had an agenda, planned on winning. It was all about winning. All of this, love stuff that she was talking, but then tried to downplay it as soon as she was in front of the cops, was very telling. Just a very shallow individual. And I don't know if that's the stance that you would take when you know that your life has just completely been screwed. But, from the outside looking in, it's easy to judge her. But as far as, oh my gosh, Grace, what is it with the photobombing from these cats? I don't get it. Yes, I only have 2 cats. I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. I'm looking at the numbers up to the day. I can put everybody there at the scene of the crime except for her. For her, it's not quite adding up to her being there. The numbers don't match. So I'm going to take you up to the day. Let's go with Chris. And I have a visual too, as far as for Chris. Apparently he'd been planning this for quite a while. He had so many opportunities to change his mind. He had so many opportunities to do the right thing. His master number 44 was just beating him down. Come on, here's your opportunity. Here's your opportunity to rise above this challenge, this potential abuse of power, and use your power for good. Go through the proper steps, to do the right thing. Sorry. And he didn't. He just totally failed. He failed. So on the 10th of August, I'm going to go back to the 10th of August. He was planning and plotting. Here's a nice visual for that. Let's see if you can see that. Looks pretty malicious, right? That was the vibration he was using, a 59.5. He wanted his freedom at all costs. He wanted to end them. He wanted his freedom. I would say on the 11th, she's traveling. She's gone. He was able to run around with NK and do his thing. Now, on the 12th, he thought she was coming home on the 12th. So his sneaky little plan was going into effect. He was going to deliver the blow on the 12th. And it didn't happen. So that was the ultimate betrayal. He's in a 61.7. He's going to do the final betrayal to her and end her life. And it doesn't happen. There's a delay. Once again, the universe has offered him another gift for him to take it and do the right thing. And does he? No, because he's already got his stubborn mind stuck on one step. He has to complete this. He doesn't see the bigger picture. He's focused down here again, obsessing on one step, which is the end my family step. Not seeing, I have an opportunity before me. Her flight has been delayed. Now, a normal thinking person would say, here's a delay that has presented itself. This is the universe telling me, since he's so in touch with God, this is the universe telling me you are going down the wrong path. You need to turn your boat around and go in the other direction. This is wrong. But no, he doesn't go there. He still obsesses with his sick mind. I have to do this. So instead, he waits till, the next day while she comes home at 2:00 in the morning. And we still don't know when exactly that he did this because he's such a pathological liar. So either he doesn't know or he's protecting somebody. He still hasn't accepted what he did, or he's protecting somebody. It's very hard to tell because he's changed his story so many times that now anything that he says just doesn't hold any truth or any validity. I still don't feel that connection from him that he's actually told what really happened or when it happened, because now he's claiming that he went in to go kill the girls first and was unsuccessful. So anything that he says as to his reasoning for killing Shanann is all BS. So now he's done it, but it's now instant karma because on the 13th, he is trapped. He's done. He's in an 8, life lesson number 8. Only it's a bad 8. He's trapped. He is screwed. There's no turning back. He is literally bound. He's trapped. He can't see his way out. He can't fix it. He was given so many opportunities and he blew it. All the way around, blew it. There's nothing that he can do. Now, on the 14th, he's now in a 63.9. He is worried. He is panicking. He's thinking about every possible scenario. How does he cover his tracks? What can he do? It's too late to turn back. You can't go back and do it over. Uh-oh, what did you do? He's freaking out. He's panicking. This person is full of worry. There's nothing he can do. Finally, on the 15th, he knows he's cooked. He's done. He confesses. Game over. Okay, 64-1. 10 of Swords. He's done. So that was his path. Okay, and it all played out. Puts him there at the scene. Numbers all add up. He's done. He's now gone down as low as he can go. There's no place to go. I mean, no place to go. He's gone down as low as he can go. Now let's look at Shanann. Shanann knows on the 10th that things are ending. Her life is transforming. It's not going to be the same as it was before. She's in a 49-4. It's the good life is actually coming to an end. It's been a lot of getting what she wants and living a life of what she felt were many blessings, but possibly to the extreme. On the 11th, she knows her family is changing, her dynamic is changing. She has to look out for her children and not really knowing what to do, but that an unwanted change has come. She's in at 50. On the 12th, she's feeling a lot of anger and tension from the man, it's a 51-6. Those are harsh messages that come in under a 51-6. It's some very cutting message, or sometimes we get these from attorneys. We'll get this number from somebody who's an attorney, but it's not. It's actually Chris, and he's just being very cut and dry. And this is when he was actually planning on ending her life, but she was delayed, so she couldn't come in. And then on the 13th, 52-7, Queen of Swords. That's the divorced or the widowed woman. The ultimate betrayal. Her life was ended. So that's where that all came to full circle. So many of you want to know why I thought that the girls came in predestined for this. And there are some children that actually come here to change the world. And there are some children that come in here to make a change in their family. So you've got Amber, I believe her last name is Hagerman, and her death brought about Amber Alerts. Her path of destiny was a 13-4, and as you know, 13 is sometimes the number of death. We usually try not to take it quite so literal, but her death brought about Amber Alerts. Look at that big change that happened as a result of Amber Alerts. So then you look at Adam Walsh. Adam Walsh's soul was a solid 9, just a straight 9. And his death brought about the sex offender registry. So that went into effect. Now you know who's in your neighborhood. So these little souls came in to create change in our country. So that's some pretty monumental stuff. Now, when I see a lot of 8s tend to be a karmic number. And so when an 8 person comes in, they're given opportunities. It's karmic. They came here to either pay a debt or do something to create a change in their families. I see that more often than not. So as we know, Chris was a 44-8. Well, Bella was a 35-8. Life lesson. She was a 22-4, master number, 22 soul. And she was a 31-4 outer personality. And Chris's soul number is a 31 as well. She had his number. She knew him. You look at her, and that little girl has me wrapped. I look at her and she just had so much wisdom in her eyes. It's like she knew things. And her path of destiny is a 53, which is an 8. That is a person that catapults into or out of your life with a quickness. The situation is intense. Her death created quite a stir, as did Cece's. And when you look at that little girl, and she looks exactly like her father, just a carbon copy of her father. And Cece is a carbon copy of her mother. And Cece was a 5. She's a 5, which means you aren't going to tell that kid anything. She would have run over her father at any given moment. And I think she pretty much did. But she was a 26-8 soul, which is a very karmic number. She came in to serve a purpose as well. And her path of destiny was a 9. She came here for completion. So her death was to serve a purpose as well. And we're all wondering, scratching our heads, why? Why? It's very hard to figure that out. And I'm going to bring you up to their days and their final days and tell you where they were at. So Let's see here. I do have this written down, but it's smaller, so of course I need the granny glasses so I can see what's happening here. I'm looking at the girls' personal days, and honestly, I'm going to say this, and this is very highly disturbing, but Chris's story about killing the girls twice isn't quite adding up. I'm looking at Cece's numbers. Cece was in a 64-1 on the 12th. I think he killed her on the 12th, not on the 13th. I think that's what set this all in motion. He was planning on killing Shanann on the 12th, and then her flight was delayed. I think he had already killed Cece on the 12th. He didn't kill Bella. I think he thought he did, but it wasn't successful. She was just sleeping, and he didn't do it. Then when Shanann came home, he had no way out. If she wanted to see the kids on the monitor, and he said, no, it took me forever to get them down, just look at them on the monitor. By the 13th, Cece was already gone. She was in a 65-11. She was with a family member, a male family member, and she was already in the next level. She was no longer here. So he killed her on the 12th. According to her numbers, she absolutely died on the 12th. That's so disturbing that he's lying about that. As far as Bella goes, Bella was in a number that she was in the devil. She was in a 15-6. It's like the number of in the tarot deck, it's the devil card. I honestly, he was just so far in over his head at this point. I still just can't wrap my mind around that. But I think he did kill Bella on the 13th, probably out of the battery, but he had already taken Cece's life before. Things just didn't work out the way he had planned, and that poor little girl, she put up such a fight, and this is just absolutely heartbreaking. But when you watch the videos, the surveillance, well, not surveillance videos, but the videos of him on the police cam when they go in, and just watch his reactions to everything, knowing what you know, and watching him try to poker face everything, and his eyes are darting. It's crazy to watch him, and when you think about what he must be thinking, the dialogue that's going on in his brain as to, he knows he's going to be screwed. And then when they go to the neighbor's house to watch the surveillance video off of his camera, and they're watching Chris load his truck, and he's like this, and just, and he just can't even, he's just so screwed. And you wonder, because for me, I'm very investigative. I have to know what's going on in your head. I have to know. When I see somebody who's watching himself on camera, and then I'm watching his reaction, it was just, I'm trying to get into the gears in his head and wonder what he's thinking. Why did he think he was going to get away with this? What was this? But, this family had some big issues, and I think these little girls, they had an opportunity at life. Chris failed the test, and they went with their mother, and they're in a better place. But this was a very tragic, toxic family. The grandparents, I don't know. We don't hear anything from Shanann's family, really. But Chris's mom has now taken this toxic stance, as has his sister. And they've teamed up with some YouTubers, and all that they do is bash Shanann. Now she's a narcissist, and her parents are crazy people. And they've really taken a turn towards being really caustic and nasty. Like they feel nothing about their grandchildren being gone. They've taken to Chris's defense so much that basically saying Shanann had it coming in their words. It's really, really nuts. And I don't have her birth information but they've really turned this around. There's no feeling there. There's nothing. It's pretty crazy. And, Shanann had her issues, and I know people are going to get pissed at me for saying that. But when you have to live out loud that much and document every single area of your life, number one, it just kind of shows a slight immaturity. And we've all done it. But number two, it's more of a needing outside love because you don't have it on the inside. You're needing that approval from others because for whatever reason you're not getting it from within, or you're not getting it from your relationship. You're lacking it. So it was a little over the top for me. And it was almost like a pretend life. I was a little jealous of how clean her house is for having children. My God, my place is a disaster all the time. But so I was a little jealous of that. But there's just, every family has its problems. I'm going to tell you this again. Find out where you are in your relationships. What are you brushing under the rug? What aren't you addressing? Do you have a partner who's being overly quiet? You're not listening to them. You're not allowing them to speak, or they're not speaking. He used to say things like, I would smile because I knew that she was wrong, and I knew what I was thinking on the inside. I wasn't saying. That's so caustic and dangerous. That builds up into all sorts of crap. You better make sure y'all are communicating. Seriously, this is more preventative. See what's happening in your relationships. Don't allow your children to be murdered. Don't allow yourself to be murdered. Get the help you need mentally. If you feel yourself starting to tip on the side of having homicidal thoughts and you're getting ready to make a move like this, get the help that you need. Think through the steps that you need to take in order to prevent this from happening. See how many chances that Chris was given to turn it around, to actually take the uncomfortable steps, to get a divorce, to get out of a toxic relationship, and make the right moves to save his family, to move on with the woman that he thought he wanted to be with, and not allow this to happen. Please get the help that you need. Don't ever allow another Watts family murder to happen. And with this, I'm going to stop this case until I get more information. We're going to move on to another true crime case. I'm still trying to decide which one it's going to be. And we will talk again very soon. Have a great weekend.